Okay, what else do I do to keep warm in the wintertime? Now, some other really useful tools in the winter to help keep yourself warm are hand warmers or body warmers. And they come in several different styles. I really like something like a Zippo hand warmer, which is actually heated with fuel. You take this cap off, you pour fuel into here, light it, put this back on, and it will stay warm for up to 12 hours. Warm enough that you usually need to slip it inside its little pouch, and then you can keep it in your pocket. Some people have a hard time lighting them. You do have to be kind of diligent about lighting them and making sure that they're lit. Otherwise, they're just cold. I like these because they're reusable. So all I have to do is buy the Zippo fuel, the lighter fluid, and then I have hand warmers like for all winter long. Another type that are super popular, and I really recommend the Hot Hands brand versus the Grabber brand, tend to be more reliable and warmer. Take them out of their package, you shake them up because they're air activated. Shake them up, like set them on your dash while you're getting ready or whatever. And then when they start getting warm, then you can put them in your pockets. If you suffocate all the air away from them, they won't ever get warm, or they won't be very warm. So, and then they'll, like when you take them out, like when you're done, you're like, oh, that didn't work very well. And then you set them on your dash and 20 minutes later, they're like super hot. It's nice because they're instant, and if you need another one, or if you have somebody in your group that needs one, these can be a really great option. Another option that they've come out with, and I don't have any yet, are battery-powered hand warmers, which I've heard good things about. So you charge them up and then stick them in your pocket, and they'll be warm, for several hours. I think the only downsides are maybe they don't stay as warm for as long. And if you're on a long-term trip, then they can, once they're done, they're done. You can't recharge them unless you have a battery bank. They're heavier than carrying several of these or whatever. So those are some pros and cons of each type of hand warmer that I know about out there. But I love taking a hot drink, like coffee or hot tea or whatever hot drink that you really like. Just take it in this. It doesn't have to be a lot. It's just really nice. You have the cup with it. You can pop this out, pour yourself a hot drink, and it's really nice, especially during your breaks. It can be a quick and easy way to warm up. Another thing I love doing is taking a hot meal. Now, whether it's soup or something that you heat it up and put in here, there's really not anything else like after working all morning, sitting down in a cold environment and having a hot meal. This is a super easy way to do it. Of course, you could take a stove and heat it up, but that's just more weight in your day pack and more time while you're sitting there. It's also a great way to warm someone up in an emergency. Some other considerations that you want during the winter to help yourself stay warm is eat. Eat more than you think. Bring more food than you think. Eat more calories than you think. Calories are what gives your body the fuel to make that heat. You need to drink a lot of water. You're not going to want to drink a lot of water, but water is what helps make everything work. And so eating more than you think and water more than you think, like every hour on the hour, eat something and drink water. Make yourself eat like a couple hundred calories and drink some water. Weather. We put a whole bunch of hot clothes on, and then all of a sudden we start moving and we get hot and sweaty. Well, when you get hot and sweaty, you tend to soak up those layers, and then when you stop or you move less, you get really cold. So it's definitely something that you want to watch. Getting cold and wet in the winter can be the perfect recipe for hypothermia. And if you're way out there, what are you going to do? So when you're in the winter time and you're being active, you want to try to tend to the colder end. You don't want to be sweating a lot. So if you're sweating a lot, you need to stop and you need to take off those layers and try to cool down a little bit, because you don't want to wet out all of those layers and get yourself in the position for hypothermia later. Is it impossible to stop the sweating? Yes, it is. But what you just need to be really conscious of is, how wet am I getting? And do I need to delayer now so that I can let some of that heat vent out? So say like you get stuck out there longer than you think. You're cold and you're wet. Your base layer is wet. Your sweater, kind of got damp. Maybe your jacket kind of got damp. So what are you going to do? Always carry a dry emergency base layer that you're not going to wear unless it's an emergency. And then always have a dry set of gloves. Always have a dry set of warm socks. I often take like some Gore-Tex socks that I hardly ever use. I mean, they're too warm, but like if I'm stuck out in the winter, I'm going to want something warm to put on my feet. Because the last thing you want to do is sit down and get cold. It is so much easier to stay warm than to get yourself warmed back up. So keep your core warm. Keep all of this warm. As soon as you sit down and take a snack break in the winter, layer up. And I may put this on and my rain jacket over the top if it's breezy. Of course, you're always going to monitor when you're sitting there, making sure how cold you're going to get. And when you're getting to that point where you need to get up and move, it's time for your snack break or your lunch to be over and it's time to get up and move again. One of my other favorite winter tricks is carrying a full-length foam pad. Now this foam pad is like 1/8 of an inch thick, super thin. But the great thing about this pad is it's like 72 inches long or something like that, close to it. And I can quickly pull the Velcro strap off, and then you have a full-length foam pad, okay? What's so great about that in winter is that you can sit down on the ground and put your legs out on the ground, put your backpack behind your back or, at your feet or whatever. Pull this up a little bit behind you, behind a tree, and you have insulation from the ground where you can sit out and actually enjoy yourself. You're not like trying to keep yourself up out of the snow. It gives you an opportunity to relax. Not only that, this foam pad, you can set stuff on, keep it out of the snow, keep it out of the mud, whatever. It's just a really great thing to have. And in an emergency situation, you can double this up, triple this up, sit on it at night, lay on it at night in your emergency bivvy or whatever you're going to do. And lastly, I mentioned an emergency bivvy. What is that? You want to take with you one of those like little Mylar sheets. And really what I would recommend is a Mylar bivvy. Now that is a full, like a sleeping bag of Mylar, and they tend to be a little bit heavier duty. A lot of them are orange, SOS type brand, and so they're super visible, which means that if you're caught out and someone's looking for you, it might be easier to spot in the woods. A full-length bag that you can pull up over yourself, pull up over your head, insulate yourself from the ground, like with your foam pad and some pine needles or whatever you're going to find. It's going to be much warmer than just a blanket.